Welcome back to another episode of Perfectly Unposed. I'm Kimberly.
Hello, I'm Miranda.
Hi, guys. Today, we're just going to go right into it, I think. Unless you
Yeah.
have something else. But today, we're going to be talking about storytelling. And we're basically just going to be talking about storytelling on a wedding day specifically. And why we approach every wedding the way like a director approaches a film, which I think is really interesting. And I wish this content existed when I first started weddings because I just was not shooting that way at all. I was just shooting the way I saw other people shoot. And then I just kind of copied that. And so I really wish I would have seen more content around like how other people shoot and like there's different ways of shooting a wedding.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, today we're just going to be talking about storytelling on a wedding day. And I guess we can start with like the pre-production, like before the wedding day even starts.
Yeah.
Because every movie starts before the camera starts rolling. Like you got the script, you got the storyboards, you got like the characters, all of that. And weddings are basically the exact same thing. Like you're meeting your characters, you're trying to create like the mood boards and the Pinterest boards of the inspiration and like what story your clients are trying to tell and like how they're gonna be and all the character like arcs that they have during the wedding day and like their people. It's like when you see wedding days like that, it is so much more fun to shoot weddings instead of like feeling like every wedding is the same wedding that you're shooting, because you are kind of shooting every wedding the same, but not really, because every like couple who's having their wedding has different things that they want to focus on.
Well, I think it was John Dolan who I got this from, but he looks at wedding days as like a play. So there's like act one. Yeah. There's like an act 1, act 2, and act 3. And so like every wedding is going to have those same acts, but like different things happen in each act that are like different or unique to the wedding day. So
which is basically like a film too. It's like the exact same thing. And I love that it's like a play that he talks about it. Like, and before the wedding day, we're not just thinking about like the logistics. We're thinking about like, who are these people? What matters to them? What kind of stories are we telling? And so, for example, is this going to be like a loud, joyful, chaotic wedding? Or is it going to be like a quiet, intimate, like deeply emotional wedding? Because again, every client is so different. And maybe like when you really like find your ideal client, it won't feel, I don't know, but even then, like people are still so different that even if it is your ideal client for every wedding, like they're still gonna have different dynamics. And like, is this couple playful, or are they like super unserious, or are they like super romantic and intentional? Are they like lovey-dovey? Are they not? And so learning all this before a wedding day will make the shooting the wedding day so much easier when you get to know like the characters in your movie.
Because then you can tailor everything to their personalities.
Yeah, and so that's where like questionnaires and conversation and just like paying attention to your couples when they inquire and when you're reading their questionnaire, why it's so important and matters so much to the story that you're about to tell on their wedding day. And I think you had something written down about like questions that you even ask on your questionnaires to get like a little bit more detail about them.
Yeah. So it's not like necessarily questions like, I mean, you can ask these like, how did you meet? Or like, you know, their love story per se, which you can totally get that information if you want. But I'm more interested in like, like how they interact with each other. Like, are they lovey-dovey? Do they like PDA? Like just simple questions like that. And then also I'm asking like who is important to them. Like we kind of think of them as like the VIPs of the day, so that you're not only like focusing on their interactions during the day, but you're storytelling through like the interactions of their favorite people, their family members, their friends, because all that adds to like the story of the day. And then also figuring out like what's most important to them on their wedding day, because that's going to be different for every single person. And something that I like to do is ask, like, if you only had 5 photos in your wedding gallery, like, what do you envision? Like, what moments are gotta be in there?
Yeah.
And I don't write that down so that I forget, like, if they're, like, one of their photos is, like, the first kiss, I'm not gonna, like, think about forgetting the first kiss.
Yeah.
But I'm wanting to know, like, what is important to them, because if it's, like, the first kiss, that signals to me, like, okay, that's important to them. What other moments during the day can I see and capture of them, like, interacting, like, kissing or, like,
First moments.
First moments, yeah. So you can kind of figure out, like, what's important to them and then build your storytelling, like, around that. And that happens all before you even, like, meet them sometimes.
Yes, which is so important to just, like, listen and write things down, because they'll tell you about their story if you just listen. Even that's why I like going to rehearsal dinners now, is because people will tell you about their people. Like, the amount of, like, grandparents that are telling me, like, without even being prompt, they're, like, telling me how they met, how they did all of this, and, like, the story of their lives and all of this. I'll have aunts, uncles telling me about the couple, and, like, even friends and family, where they're from and all that stuff. And so that really just adds to their story and how I like go into the day and like thinking about those people that I talk to, and just not just focusing on my bride and groom or my couple, because I feel like I did that a lot when I first started. I was literally only focusing on the couple in front of me, and like I didn't give a shit about anybody else.
Seriously, I remember, like, only, like, taking photos of them, and if I wasn't with them, I was just sitting.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I'm off the clock."
Yeah.
Which is like, what? There's literally story happening all around me.
Yes, everywhere. Yeah, and I think we'll talk about the New York wedding we had a lot, because I think about that wedding and how good we were able to shoot that wedding and storytell that wedding so well, where it was just like every moment of the day without it being every second of the day. Like, we were able to capture it so well, and like transition scenes and what they had for dinner and how they were having dinner, and just simple moments like that, where I did not think about any of that when I first started. It was literally just like, okay, ceremony, focus on them. Reception, focus on them. Dancing, focus on them. Like, it literally, I never, not that I never took pictures of anybody else, but I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I wasn't like looking, I wasn't anticipating moments with grandparents. I wasn't like anticipating moments that happened like right after the first kiss. Like, I just blinders on. I did not think about that. So I really love that we're talking about this now. And so getting into the wedding day, this is kind of like where you're like establishing the story, and it kind of like starts with the getting ready moment.
It's act 1.
Yes, it's act 1. No, literally. And every movie starts with establishing shots. So you're like, okay, where are we in this movie? Are we in New York? Are we in Canada? Are we in Antarctica? Like, we all have those establishing shots that we see in movies. And so this could be like the exterior of the house, the environment, the quiet before the story even begins. And this is where like the storytelling starts, even if you don't feel like it yet. Like,
even if nothing's happening.
Yes.
Like, we get to use our, like,
senses.
Creativity and senses to be like, okay, nothing's happened yet, but how can I, like, set the scene?
Yes.
And that is literally what, like, our job
because
is.
When I first started, when nothing was happening, I was like, okay, nothing's happening.
Yeah, nothing's happening. I'm just
Camera
gonna
down.
sit here. Yeah.
Camera down. And so for these moments, I'm looking for like hand zipping up a bridesmaid's dress, or like dad lingering in the hallway, or like mom standing and doing, I don't know, smoothing some fabric or ironing something, and just like the energy of the room too, because sometimes the energy could be so different, like wedding to wedding. Like, some weddings are just like so calm and peaceful, and some are like they're like blasting music, they're like dancing, having fun. And so you want to document those moments, because it matters to the story. And when someone looks back at their photos, they're not just seeing like what they wore, they're like remembering the feeling of that morning. And when you add all those photos together, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I even missed this moment, or I feel the energy in the room of the music blasting and everyone's dancing. But if you don't add that to your gallery, you're not really putting in the emotion and the feelings into that gallery. And it's more so just like, this is what we did.
Exactly.
And it doesn't feel as sentimental or emotional or like cinematic. Yeah. It just feels like, oh, okay, we got photos of me getting ready.
Yeah. And I feel like how you do that, because someone might be listening like, okay, cool, how do I find those moments to capture? And this is where I like talking about using your 5 senses.
Yes.
So it's like, what is, obviously you can see what it looks like.
Yes.
But what does it smell like? Like, I remember specifically like one of the Greek Orthodox churches weddings that you had, there was like a bunch of incense burning. And so I was like, okay, I want them to remember how it smelled. So I took a photo of like the candles in the sand, like of the incense thing. Like that is not just like a random photo that I took. Like it has purpose. Like all of those like random details like add to the story. And I think whenever I first started, I didn't think about photographing details like that because I was like, whatever, like I don't care.
Like no one, who's gonna frame this?
Yeah, like there's not a person in this photo, so like why does it matter?
Yes.
But it does, like when you're like going through a whole gallery, like it does add to it. So yeah, like what it smells like, what are you hearing? Like is there music? Even like I remember watching this one photographer that I was obsessed with when I first started. He really talked about using all of your senses. I think his name is Eric Floberg, but he was talking about how he showed up to like a rehearsal dinner and they were like doing like big barbecue like stuff, and so he saw like all the smoke from the barbecue and like it smelled like that, and like so he was taking photos of like the smoke. I was like, yeah, like that is storytelling.
Yes, exactly. And it is so hard to know that when you don't know what you're looking for, like when you don't know how to like story tell, because it's like you just want to focus on the people and you want to just focus on the main characters, but like every good story has like main characters and also like their supporting roles. And so it wouldn't be a very good story or it wouldn't be a very good movie if no one else is in the movie, or we're only focusing on the couple and we're not getting like where they're from or what they're doing or where they're at. Like we would not know any of that. And then you're like, okay, what is the point of this? Like,
then it just looks like, okay, wedding photos. Anyone could have taken those photos.
Exactly. And so this is what really will set your galleries apart, and even just like curating like what you want to add to the gallery and what you don't. So this is something that I'm working on too. But here's something directors understand really well, is that audiences connect to people and not perfection. So on wedding days, we're not just like documenting the pretty moments, we're watching who people are. And this is like the character development of a movie. You're watching grandma, you're watching friends who are always cracking jokes, or the sibling who is like just crying in the corner, or like the mom that's always crying in the corner, like the bride who keeps checking on everyone else, the groom who can't stop smiling. Like you're like looking around for these types of people. And honestly, I feel like that happens in the getting ready rooms, where you're like really noticing like who's,
because like a vulnerable space, like everyone's like their vulnerable selves.
Yes. And so this is where you're like really getting the character development of all these personalities and just anticipating what's about to happen next. Because I think that's something that I missed too when I first started, is like anticipating things. So like when someone cracks a joke, I used to just like maybe laugh with them instead of pulling up my camera and maybe getting that moment, you know, like I was just like not anticipating bringing my camera up and like getting that moment. And so that's something that I really like to do now, is like really anticipate like what's about to happen. If someone's about to tell a joke, or if the first look is happening, if someone else is in the room, they're probably crying, they're probably laughing, they're smiling. And so anticipating not only getting the shot of like the first look, but also looking around and seeing like, oh, is someone peeking out at the window? Is someone like just like looking like around the corner to see the first look? Like those are moments that I think are really important to the story too, is like those characters involved in the story, not just like the main characters.
Why they're important is because the couple isn't seeing that. So it's like our job to tell them what happened.
Yes.
Because they can only see and remember what they were present for.
Mhm.
And so if they're not seeing that person looking through the window, like, they're never going to know. Like,
Yeah.
so that is our job to say, like, no, this happened. And that's such
Yes.
like a gift that we can give.
Mhm.
So,
And that's like bringing them into their own story
Yeah.
that they miss, because I think a lot of the time couples talk about like they like just kind of black out and just like they're just doing what
Yeah.
they're being told to do, and they're
Yeah.
not even paying attention to anyone else. And so yeah, we do have that great gift of being like, oh, here's also moments that you missed that I think you'll laugh at or cry at or feel, because it's just like you missed this and I captured it and here you go. And again, like I feel like I missed all of that when I first started, which I always feel so bad. I'm like, I wish I could go back to your wedding.
It is like also really important because, and I'm not just saying it's important because I think it's important, like literally anytime I get a review or, you know, my clients telling me how they experienced it, that is their number one thing they say is like, you were able to capture things that we weren't there for, and we are so thankful for that. So it's like, that is literally what people have
said. And that you have to break away from like, my couple isn't just the person that I need to be photographing today. Like I really need to start noticing everyone else and not just the couple. Because like I said like a million times, that's all I did when I first started.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could go back and give them other memories, but you know, it is what it is. You learn, you live, you grow. But so for like the main event, I would call this like the ceremony. This is like the emotional part of the film. And this is where the director mindset really matters, because the ceremony isn't just about like, did I get the kiss? It's about who's crying, who's holding their breath, like who's watching from the front row, who's wiping their tears during the vows. And the ceremony is so layered with different emotions, because some ceremonies are super funny. Some are like people are crying left and right. Some are super emotional. Different things are happening. Different speakers are on the stage. Like there's just so many other things that you can capture to tell the whole story, instead of just like staying in the middle and just capturing the couple.
Yeah.
Like face to face. Like that doesn't really tell a story. Like you can have one photo, but then you can try to focus on everyone else that's there, because there's a reason the couple told all these people to come to their day. And if they don't have a good photo of the people that are there, then like what was the point?
Yeah.
Like they would have just eloped with no one there if they just wanted photos of themselves. So just like really focusing on that and knowing that the couple is the main storyline, but the reactions are like the subplots, and like how they're going to remember their family members, their friends' family, like on their wedding day, like how their personality shined through that, whether they're a crier, a laugher, or like just like someone that just like, I don't know, has like super expressive faces is what you want to capture during those times. And sometimes you won't get that, but you got to look out for it.
Something else that I really like to do for this act 2 of the ceremony is to hang out with everyone that's like before the processional.
Yes.
Because like, it's not just like, okay, you get a photo, let's say they're getting married at a church. You get a photo of the church and then you're just waiting there until they start walking down the aisle. Like so much happens before then.
Yes.
And so that is some of my favorite moments to get, is like everyone like lining up to go down the aisle, or like, you know, the bride with her dad, like having those moments before they're about to walk.
Grandma hugging someone she hasn't seen in 10 years or something.
Literally.
Like, there's always something.
The guests that scraggle in when they're late. Like you can get so much stuff.
Yes. You really can. And it's so funny. You really do miss those moments when you're just like, this isn't really my job. Like I'm gonna chill for 30 minutes. And one of my favorite moments from the New York wedding we had was before the ceremony, there was this guy that was like pulling out his phone and he was like, come here. And I was like, okay. And he was showing me a photo, like an old photo of someone in their family. And they were talking, I don't even remember what this guy was talking about. He was just like, oh yeah, I've known them for so long. They're part of the family. And I just took a photo of the phone of the picture he was showing me. Like, he was
Mhm.
showing me a picture on his phone, so I took a picture of the phone of the photo that he was showing me. I have no idea what it means, but I'm sure that the couple, like, they know who it is,
Exactly
what
it
they're
is,
talking
yeah.
about, who's in that photo, and it's just a funny photo because it's like, I don't know why you're showing me this right before the ceremony, but it's funny and I love
Yeah.
it, and I love that you're showing me this and like putting me into your story and telling me about your story and the people that were in it. And so I just thought that was like a really good moment, because I'm sure Miranda didn't even know what that photo was either.
No, but I'm so glad we had it in the gallery.
And you're right, like, so much happens before the ceremony, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Like, it is such a good moment to, like, get people's reactions and just, like, people hugging and crying even before the ceremony even starts because they haven't seen a lot of these people in a really long time. But is there anything else you had to say about the ceremony?
You talk about this a lot, but, like, anticipating moments,
Mhm.
like, not just the main moments that everyone gets, but, like, after the first kiss, like, what's happening after? They're always gonna do something different. Every couple is different when they walk back down the aisle, and just, like, anticipating that, like, even after the ceremony is over, like, the moments aren't over, and to keep
Yes,
shooting
yes.
through everything.
Yes, actually, that's another good point. That reminds me of, again, that New York wedding we did. Miranda followed the couple around the house,
Mhm.
and I stayed after. And their ceremony, they did like a white confetti throw, and it was like not just like sprinkled confetti, it was
No.
like massive, like snowfall kind of confetti. And so I could have put my camera down afterwards. I could have been like, okay, ceremony is over, bye.
Yeah.
But everyone, there's this photo that you added to the gallery, and it's like everyone just like covered in confetti, and they're just like looking at everyone like, oh, like shaking it out of their hair. There's confetti all over the floor. And
Everyone's crying
everyone's
too.
crying, everyone's hugging, and that's one of my favorite pictures to take at ceremonies now is everyone after the ceremony hugging, crying, doing their thing. Like, parents are hugging each other and everyone's just like so happy that this moment just happened. And so again, that's like more of a subplot, but it makes the whole gallery richer
Yeah.
because it's like the couple has no idea that that's happening, that everyone has to shake out their hair to get
Mhm.
all this confetti out of their hair. And like, they're all just like, what just happened? Because even we were like, what just happened? Like, that was massive snowfall. That was not just like sprinkle of confetti. It was like a massive snowfall. And so just like getting those moments like really add to the story. And it would be a fine story without it, but that just adds another layer to the story,
Mhm.
and I think that's really important. So you're so right, just, like, anticipating moments like that too.
And also, I think if you're someone who's kind of, like, new to, like, wedding days and you aren't, like, seasoned in storytelling, like, the more you practice these kind of storytelling skills,
Mhm.
you will find your voice.
Yes.
Because the way that, like, you're photographing these different things will, like, show your voice. Like, for instance, like, I photograph things way differently than you do. And so it's like, but we wouldn't know our voice if we never, like, took the chance to, like, keep shooting through all of
Shooting.
these
Yes.
moments, because then everyone's photos look the same. They're just, like, the main portraits of the couple. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like practicing storytelling actually helps you define your voice as an artist.
And just knowing that every wedding is so different, like, some of these moments I can't get at other weddings.
Right.
Because it's just not happening.
Yeah.
And so we can't direct every single moment. Like, I can't tell people to, hug after the ceremony. Like, if it's happening, I'm just getting it. And if it's not happening, okay, then
Then it
it's
didn't
just not,
happen.
yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
happen. And so just knowing that, like, not every wedding is going to be the same, and the same shots that you got at one wedding, you probably aren't going to get at the next wedding. But it's more so just like knowing who your couple is and their characters too. And like, just being okay with like not getting that one shot because you got it at a different wedding. I feel
Mhm.
like that's really hard to learn too. It's just like, oh, like you want it to be the exact same gallery as your other one because you loved it so much, but it's just like sometimes that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's okay because it's their story and it's their day.
Yeah.
But at least you're like shooting it in the way that you think will tell their story, even if it's not the same thing happening every single time. And so the pacing and the flow, like the in-between moments are really important, and kind of what we were just talking about, like that moment right after the ceremony. Like I could have put my camera down, but it was so funny to see everyone like hugging, taking the confetti out of their hair, and that's an in-between moment that usually most beginner photographers I think would not capture. And so those are some of like the most powerful scenes in movies, are the quiet ones, the walks between location, the pauses before a big moment, the breath before the next scene. And on a wedding day that looks like walking to portraits, waiting for introductions, a couple alone for 30 seconds right before they're walking down the aisle, like a deep exhale after the ceremony. Like sometimes I literally see people just like
Yeah.
be like wide-eyed and just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened." Like, those are the moments that you really wanna look out for, are those in-between moments. They're not just like filler moments, they're like the glue of the entire story, and just like
Mhm.
how you're gonna go from one scene to the next scene. So like after the ceremony, everyone's like shaking out their hair, and then now it's time to go get some cocktails and have some fun and like enjoy the rest of the night. And so yeah, a good director knows when to let the scene breathe, and a good photographer does too.
Mhm.
Is to like get those in between moments. But then I guess like the reception is where like a big energy shift happens. I feel like and I feel like every movie has like that tonal shift, and receptions are where the energy changes. The music gets louder, people get a little looser, the movements get bigger, the story like loosens up. And here I'm thinking like, what does joy look like on these people, or like how are they happy right now? Are they
How are they
showing it?
celebrating? It's a
Yes, how are they celebrating?
celebration.
There we go. And so for some people, they're dancing like no one's watching. For some other people, it's laughing at the table. For some people, it's just like emotional toast and they're crying through the toast. And so looking not just at the couple, but what everyone else is doing too. And storytelling isn't like forcing a vibe, it's like honoring the one that's already there. And just like,
Yes.
again, it goes into
And
like,
that's tea. I love that.
yes. And it's like, that's why I say it's like, not every one of those moments is going to happen at every single wedding. And it's because everyone celebrates differently. Everyone's so different. And so, yeah, just noticing, really,
Mhm.
just noticing. Cause I think, again, when I first started, during toast, focus on the couple. Like,
Yeah.
didn't look at anybody else. Like, maybe I was looking at their parents, but I wasn't really focusing on anything else. And so when you do that, you really have your blinders on, and then you don't capture really good moments that you could capture. And those are the ones that really tell a story, is like the emotions of everyone that was there. So I really think that the reception isn't honestly, the reception is one of my favorite parts of the
Mhm.
wedding, because it's like it either gets crazy or emotional or both, and it's just a really, really good time. People
Mhm.
really let loose at the
Yeah, it's
reception.
so much more relaxed and,
Yes.
like, everyone's comfortable.
Yes.
People aren't like, "Oh"
Like on edge.
yeah, they're not on edge because you have a camera. So it's
Mhm.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. But is there anything else that you wanted to add to?
Um, Something else that really helps me storytell is okay, this has been a big shift in
Oh.
my career, was when I realized that detail photos aren't just fluff and filler.
Oh, yeah.
They, like, actually help tell the story. They a lot of times can be transition from, like, okay, this was the ceremony, now we're moving to the reception. How do we do that well in a gallery? Well, you can take detail photos of like the location we're in, the table settings, like all of these details they're not just like they don't matter. They actually do matter. They set the scene, they help you transition from one place to the next, and it really helps change like the energy and the emotions of the photos too. And so once I realized that, I was like, okay, I am way more detail oriented about details now.
Yes, yes.
Another thing is like being able to read the room and that kind of goes with like the anticipating moments. That's just like a learned skill I feel like people have to have.
Yeah. You really have to practice.
Yeah, you really do.
And you just have to put in the reps too. Like you have to go to a lot of weddings to like realize like what's about to happen next. Like there's just some moments that I know like that I need to look out for right after. Like when I say I'm done taking portraits, like after our portrait session of a wedding, they always high five. They always do something really cute that's like a part of their story. And I'm always anticipating that moment because they always do something funny. And I'm always like looking out for that. But you wouldn't know that unless you like do it over and over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah. Putting in the reps really does help. And then also something that helps me to be a better storyteller is like the art of being present and taking photos without people knowing that you're taking photos. And that, I mean, that kind of comes with like documentary skills, but I feel like that is when I really get to the meat of my storytelling is when I'm taking photos that people have no idea that I'm taking photos. And that is just another learned skill that you have to like have practice
and that even
with.
has to do with like your lenses and like how far away you are and how incognito you are too. And also when you get to know people and like they start trusting you, they don't even care that you have a camera out. They're not looking at you. They're just like, whatever. That's like the photographer. Like they don't really like, they're not just like on high alert and they're like, just like looking at the camera, like, what do I do? So that's why I love going to rehearsal dinners because I feel like they just get to know me. And so like on the wedding day, it doesn't feel like I'm intruding on a moment. I'm just like taking photos and they're just like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to let the moment happen. Like I'm not going to like try to smile at the camera or even stop what I'm talking about. I'm just going to let it happen.
Yes. Also, a lot of it I feel like has to do with your energy. Like,
oh, yeah, that too.
Like, I feel like if you are calm and just like easygoing, like, and you walk into the room with that energy, then people in response feel calm and they're not like on high alert that there's a camera there. So it is like a lot about like your energy, which you could totally have the complete opposite energy of that come in the room like, hey, like I'm a photographer, like, and that's totally fine too. That's just a different way to storytell. And so it really is just all about energy when
when you're shooting.
And something else that I love to do for storytelling is layering my composition. So like for instance, like having like a wide shot and then like having like mini scenes in that one photo. And that is like, you can see that in movies. Like that's just what good directors do. And so I love like trying to fit little mini scenes into one photo. That's something else that helps with storytelling. And then also just using light different ways can really enhance your storytelling. And then the last thing I'll say, two more things. One is like working with a team that has multiple different perspectives is really good. So like if you're just a solo team, you're only getting one perspective, which is yours. So I love having a second shooter to have different perspectives. That literally adds to your storytelling. People don't really realize that, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say is like storytelling doesn't equal dramatic.
Yes.
And so I feel like, sometimes we get a little discourse of that online of like, well, I don't want it to be pose or dramatic, so I'm like not gonna like be a director or anything like that. But it like no, like all of these things can be behind the scenes.
Yes.
And they should be. And they should be like, skills and creativity that you're bringing to the day. It's not just like you show up and
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So storytelling does not mean like it's going to be so dramatic the whole time and like everything has to be fake basically. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Well, it's just like it comes to different mindsets and how you want to shoot a wedding day. Like you don't have to shoot like we do at all. You don't even have to take this advice if you don't want to. But I feel like that's how we've changed our galleries and our storytelling and like made it so much better than what it was because it's not just about the couple and you're not just like taking pictures for your own ego or own portfolio. You're really taking photos for this entire family and generations to follow to know what it felt like to be at this wedding. And they want to feel the emotions and what it felt like to be the colors, the way the lighting was, the way the clouds were, like just everything, putting them literally in the scene like you would a movie.
Yes.
And so that's what I love about storytelling. And yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to. And storytelling isn't really about control. It's just about awareness, really.
Yeah.
Awareness.
It's actually honestly kind of lack of control sometimes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. And knowing when to step in and knowing when to step back and just letting people be who they are and trusting that the story will just reveal itself. And a lot of it is like taking risk at wedding, which is really, really hard. But if you have a team, you got to trust your team too, to be able to like get the certain shots. And maybe your team is also taking risk and also knowing that they're free to take the risk. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, it is what it is. Like, you're either going to get it or you don't. And if you get it, it's going to be amazing. And if you don't, you just don't. And it's okay. Like, you just move on. And yeah, this was such a good conversation. I'm so glad we talked about this. I've been wanting to talk about this for so long. And I hope that I gave you a new way to think about wedding days, because I know when I started to think about wedding days differently, I was just like, oh my gosh, I love doing this. Like,
yeah, it's so much more fun.
It adds more depth to everything. It makes it so much more fun. And yeah, I guess that's it for storytelling. Is there anything else you want to add? Is that it?
That's it from us. Well, happy holidays.
Yes.
Ho, ho, ho.
I hope y'all had a great Christmas day, Christmas Eve, Christmas holiday break. I hope everyone had a day off at least. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.